Hi, everybody, and welcome to SpringPath's College and Career Readiness Success Tracks. I'm Elisa Ocone, Director of Research, and today we are in Success Track 2, Episode 3, talking about free money that's available out there in the form of scholarships. So this really pertains to all levels in high school, but those 10th graders, 11th graders starting to think about the process, and parents and families and caregivers as well, starting to think ahead a little bit about how do we finance this next venture. There's a lot to know about the scholarship world, and the earlier you do learn about it, the better, because you're a little bit prepared and then maybe not scrambling so much when senior year comes around. So the topics that we'll cover today are types of scholarships. So, in the worlds of academics, athletics, college specific institutional scholarships, and then some other miscellaneous scholarships. We'll talk about where to find them, scholarship scams that unfortunately are out there, and just some additional info to wrap it all up. So let's dig into those types of scholarships, starting with the typical merit scholarship. And maybe that's a term that you hear or have heard already, a merit award or a merit scholarship. So specifically, these are colleges giving out some sort of merit award or money for academic performance. And I will say, not all colleges give merit scholarships. The more selective colleges typically do not. So they're not giving money for high academic performance because most of the people who are applying to those very selective schools are of the same academic caliber. But you will find merit scholarships at many colleges and universities. So typically, there's nothing that a student needs to do to apply for a merit scholarship. When that application comes in, those admissions counselors are automatically awarding a particular level of merit award or merit scholarship. They're usually renewable all 4 years, provided that the student remains in good academic standing most of the time and that subsequent semesters, so not having taken time off. And they can be quite a range. So those merit scholarships can be under $100 a year or a semester and range all the way up to full tuition. Again, much less common, but those scholarships are out there, and everything in between. So whether it's $5,000 a year, $20,000 a year, so there is quite a range in that merit scholarship world. Typically, you can find scholarship amounts and requirements. I guess I shouldn't say typically. You can find on some colleges' websites that information so that you know ahead of time, based on it's typically GPA, based on GPA, what level of merit scholarship you would fall into, what category. Other colleges don't publish that information, and maybe it's not strictly based on GPA, but on a more holistic review of that application and of the student themselves. So again, that's kind of the general world of academic scholarships, or merit scholarships, I should say. All right, athletic scholarships. I want to make sure you can see this loud and clear. So, because there's a lot of information here on this slide. So these are athletic scholarships according to the NCSA college recruiting website and the guidelines that are published there. So just a word, Division III schools are not allowed to offer athletic scholarships, so there's not money involved on the athletic side for a Division III athlete. These are for NCAA Division I and Division II level student athletes. So important to note that fewer than 2% of high school athletes are offered athletic scholarships. So I know sometimes it seems like this crazy big world of college sports, and it is to a certain extent. But again, to keep things in perspective and to kind of bring us back down to ground level, it's again important to know. So it is a really small percentage of those athletic scholarships. So let's talk about the two different kinds, full ride and partial scholarships. Those full ride scholarships are usually 1 year agreements and only include what is called the revenue sports. So for men, it's Division I basketball and D1A football. For women, it's Division I basketball, tennis, volleyball, and gymnastics. So that is where those full ride scholarships are available. Partial athletic scholarships for those equivalency sports. And that is where the coaches divide up the scholarship money they have available and decide how to do so amongst their athletes. So those equivalency sports for Division I are men's baseball, rifle, skiing, cross country, track and field, soccer, fencing, swimming, golf, tennis, gymnastics, volleyball, ice hockey, water polo, lacrosse, and wrestling. And for Division One women's equivalency sports, they are bowling, lacrosse, rowing, cross country, track and field, skiing, fencing, soccer, field hockey, softball, golf, swimming, ice hockey, and water polo. And then all Division Two and NAIA sports are also considered equivalency sports. So in that partial scholarship world. And in terms of eligibility, there is a minimum academic standard to be considered, and you must also be considered an amateur athlete. So just kind of an overview of that athletic scholarship world. And certainly if you are on that track, I'm sure you're working with coaches already in your recruiting profile, but just to lay it out for people who may not know or know what to expect or look forward to in the coming years. Okay, so we'll move right along to other institutional scholarships. So this also falls under the category of college-specific scholarships, but you will find colleges themselves have other ways that students can supplement that merit scholarship or athletic scholarships. So some for having attended a religious affiliated high school. If the college you're applying to is of that same religious affiliation, there are oftentimes a scholarship involved there. There are scholarships for visiting campus. It's a visit award or a visit scholarship. So that is an option for some as well. Some colleges will give a scholarship for leadership. So if you have a proven leadership role or roles, there can be a scholarship for that as well. For artistic talent, oftentimes for honors, if you are asked to be part of a college's honors program or you apply and are accepted to a college's honors program, there is oftentimes additional scholarship money available there as well. And it's just important to note that many of these scholarships, so different and separate from the merit awards or scholarships, do require an application. They have their own application requirements and deadlines, so you need to check the website. So it's not always in line with what the application deadline is. So again, I will say it in almost every episode, make sure that you check each individual institution's website for specific information, requirements, deadlines, even what types of additional scholarships may be offered. And you can always give a call to a college's financial aid office as well and ask what scholarships might be available. So our miscellaneous category. And this is outside scholarships, so not necessarily coming from the college. And we'll talk about where you can look for these. But scholarships do exist. And again, some will be academic as well, separate from merit awards, but for artistic talents, for community contributions and community service. Some are geared towards your hobbies and skills or other identifiers, I should say. For example, there are scholarships out there if you knit, and if you're a twin, and if you're tall, if you promote vegetarianism, if you have been affected in your life, someone in your family or in your circle, someone who has been affected by Alzheimer's disease, if you're pursuing a particular major after high school, or even if you belong to a particular ethnic group or gender. So there are lots of different scholarships out there that sometimes we wouldn't even think about or know. There are also scholarships available for the children of veterans as well, oftentimes for the children of first responders. So there's a whole world of scholarships that if you didn't think to investigate and look for, you might not know that they exist. So where can we find these scholarships? Well, the first place, or a good first place to start, is within your high school. So your high school counseling office, your high school college and career center, sometimes they will even put together their own scholarship booklet of local scholarships, but certainly many of them post either online or somewhere physically in the building as well, a listing of scholarships that are available, whether they're local or national. So always a great place to start. As I said, college and career center, check with the school counseling office. They are a great resource for scholarships that are available. Local newspapers will oftentimes publish scholarship opportunities as well. Maybe it's the local Rotary Club or the Garden Club or the Lions Club. So lots of local scholarships available as well. Free scholarship websites and search engines. And again, I'll emphasize free on our next slide as well. So, and just be aware, many of them are free and valid. You will oftentimes end up on a distribution list and get a whole lot of emails, but typically you can unsubscribe at any point. But another great way to see the types of scholarships that are out there. Again, college websites, I said it earlier, but explore college websites, the financial aid page, scholarship page, dig into things like honors or particular majors, academic programs. Sometimes within and embedded in those pages are scholarship opportunities as well. And then note that I said it probably when I was talking about that first bullet, but some are local, some are national. They can be sponsored by corporations, nonprofit organizations, private providers. So Coca-Cola has a big scholarship every year. So again, big companies all the way down to small scholarships in your community, within your high school. Sometimes it's, with a booster club or a particular athletic team, within your high school or community as well. So there's a whole range of scholarships out there. So sadly, along with those scholarship opportunities are also people who are looking to take advantage. So what I will say about scholarships is don't pay to apply for scholarships. Again, make sure the resources that you're using, if it's search engines or websites, are free to register for and be a part of and get notified of scholarships. Don't pay, because really everything you can find for free. Research if you're concerned, if something comes to you and you're not sure if it's legitimate or not. Research the organization or the provider. You can always, again, email your school counselor, bring it into the school counseling office, say, hey, I got this, or I got this email, or this came in the mail. Is it legitimate? So perhaps that person can have some insight as well. And just know that that is typically, people are targeted through text messages, emails, good old snail mail as well. Sometimes it seems really great. Hey, your student has been selected to be part of this, leadership program, and there's scholarship involved and extra opportunities. Or if you pay to be a part of this, you'll then have access to great opportunities. I would steer clear of those things. There are actual, genuine, valid scholarship opportunities, again, that are available for free. So beware of scammers. People will try to take advantage. Don't pay for scholarships. Again, that's just my opinion and suggestion, to steer clear of having to pay for a service that then promises they will offer more scholarship opportunities. Again, I think you can find most of those opportunities for free. So beware. And then just a couple of last points that didn't necessarily fit neatly on any of the previous slides. Just know that some scholarship applications will require a letter of recommendation that is separate from your teacher letter of recommendation, especially if it's something that's service or leadership oriented. They will ask for a letter of recommendation from someone who has been a supervisor to you in that role. So again, a community leader of some sort, someone in your town or community. So it might be different. There are others that will say using your letters of recommendation that you've used for your college application will be just fine. So just make sure you understand what the requirements are and give whoever it is you're going to be asking for that letter of recommendation enough time so that you meet that scholarship application deadline. And then also important to note that some colleges will require you to report any outside scholarships that you've received and will then adjust their institutional aid accordingly. And some won't. It really depends. But again, you can always check with a financial aid counselor. Sometimes it's an online form that you'll fill out. What is the scholarship that you've been awarded? For how much is it? And all of those little details. So just wanted to end with those two little bits of information. I hope what we talked about today is helpful, or at least open your eyes to the various and many scholarship opportunities that are out there. Never too early to start researching those opportunities. Again, deadlines can approach really quickly. So when students are in the midst of application season, oftentimes these scholarship deadlines will creep up as well, but many extend even into senior year. So get a jump start, take a look at what's out there, and good luck in the process.